Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel, and today we're gonna have a look forward to Paris-Roubaix of tomorrow. Talking about who are my favorites, some dark horses, and how I think the race will go. So Paris-Roubaix, the third monument of the year, a week after the Ronde van Vlaanderen. The Ronde van Vlaanderen that was super to watch. We saw some history, Pogacar winning, the third Tour de France winner that ever wins the Ronde van Vlaanderen, so that was pretty amazing. And we saw a great Van der Poel, so that's the first name I want to drop. Van der Poel, it looks like he's in the shape of his life. He already won a monument this year with a fantastic attack in Milan-San Remo on the Poggio, dropping Pogacar and Van Aert, and let's not forget Ghana was also one of the four. He already became world champion in the cyclocross. He's doing great, so maybe he is the top favorite, and he is the top favorite, just end of discussion, I think, because with Van Aert we saw him a bit struggling in the Ronde van Vlaanderen. He also fell, and he said this week he has some issues with his ribs and his knee that are painful after that crash. It mostly with crashes like that in the race, they are not hurting so much, but a few days after, they start to play up, and that is the case in this scenario right now. At least he says like that. But Van Aert is I think a very honest person. What you see is what you get, so I don't think he's lying. So let's go to some favorites. I have the start list right before me. We have Jumbo-Visma with a very strong team. Laporte, of course, and I think Eduardo Affini can get far. Normally he's a worker, but he's a very strong rider. And Van Hooijdonk, very good in the Ronde van Vlaanderen. Had to draw back to help Van Aert, but he was in the front group, and he's riding in an amazing year again. And of course they have Dylan van Baarle, last year winner of Paris-Roubaix for Ineos. He is probably the second man of Jumbo-Visma, although he didn't show much this year yet. But Paris-Roubaix is a different race with where luck is involved, and also good form, of course, but it's very different. It's one of the most unique races in the world. So I put Dylan van Baarle on the same level as Wout van Aert. FDG has a very strong leader in the name of Stefan Kung, of course. I think he's also one of those guys that is made to ride Paris-Roubaix. Very strong. But he has to come alone because his sprint is not worth very much. So he deserves a big win, and maybe it's tomorrow in Paris-Roubaix. Alpecin de Koning, we have, of course, Van der Poel, top favorite. He can come with a group. He has a sprint. And I also see Dillier. A few years ago, he went in the early attack, and then it was the year that Sagan won, and Sagan could not drop Sylvain Dillier, so he has the potential to get far. And also very curious to see what Jasper Philipsen is able to do. He has a very good year. It looks like he's the best sprinter of the bunch this year, but also in the classics he's not doing bad. Then we have Bahrain victorious, Mohoric, Milan, Fred Wright, Fran Mihajlovic, very young guy, Fran Mihajlovic, but a great talent, and I think he can go far also. I'm very curious to see what he can show and show his potential for the future. But of course the other three I mentioned, Fred Wright, Jonathan Milan, and for sure Matej Mohoric, are some favorites. Mohoric probably the biggest one of the team, but I think surely Jonathan Milan with his sprint and his gabarit can get really far. Ineos Grenadier Filippo Ganna, he prepared specifically for this race. We saw him in Milan-San Remo very good. Then he had some bad luck in the other races, and he won Paris-Roubaix for the juniors, so he has the potential. He's made for riding over cobbles, I think, and when he has a gap and he's alone, it's very difficult to catch him back, I think. Also, Magnus Sheffield, very curious to see, and Connor Swift, and the very young Joshua Tarling. Trek Segafredo, two names that spring out directly. Three names. No, two names. I thought I saw someone different. Of course, Mats Pedersen, the old world champion. Very good in the Ronde van Vlaanderen also. Third. He has a good day or a bad day. It's one of both with him. And he's one of the best riders in the peloton. When he's superb, he can match a lot of the other riders. He comes close to the big three. Of the big three, only two are riding, and I find the big three a bit a silly term. Of course, these three riders are fantastic, but I think we do. There are some other riders that deserve a shot for the top three riders, but that's a discussion for maybe another podcast. And of course, Jasper Stuyven, a cobble specialist, very good rider. Yeah, on a good day, he can win, surely. Then Soudal Quickstep. It was the classic team now with Remco Evenepoel. It looks like it's shifting a bit, but they still have a bunch of riders that can be very good. And surely in Paris-Roubaix, I think they have Sénéchal, Lampaert, and Asgreen. Asgreen also very good in the Ronde van Vlaanderen. Lampaert is always good in Paris-Roubaix. Sénéchal, bad luck, a lot of bad luck this year, but I think with his French champion jersey, he wants to show something. And he was last year very good also, but bad luck killed his race also. Bora and Schoa, I have to look, and I see one name in... Niels Pollitt. If I remember correctly, he did one race in Paris-Roubaix, I think the year that Philippe Gilbert won. Yeah, he became second, I think. He was very strong that year. German champion is riding a good year, but it's so difficult for him to win. So the few wins he has are big wins, but he needs to come solo. And also curious to see what Jordi Meus can in a classic like this. A lot of destiny riding with a full Belgian team. Arnaud Delis, also a first time in Paris-Roubaix. Let's see what he can do. Brent van Moer, and then we have for sure Florian Vermeers. He rode an epic race that year when Colbrelli won the Paris-Roubaix in the summer. Very bad weather it was. He did an early attack, and yeah, he was stronger in the sprint than Mathieu van der Poel. So Paris-Roubaix is his race, and very curious to see what he can. Team DSM, we have Degenkolb, of course. He did win Paris-Roubaix. He did win the Paris-Roubaix stage in the Tour de France. But it's been a long time that we saw something very good of Degenkolb. But on Degenkolb, I'm gonna make a special video. His relationship with Paris-Roubaix. There's a quite heartwarming story of him in 2020, and I will go into detail then about that. Shortly after, Team DSM got a lot of backlash after the Ronde van Vlaanderen, which I understand, but I think Degenkolb deserves a place in the spotlight years after that. AG Desert, yeah. Normally you would say Greg van Avermaet and Olivier Nase a few years ago, but it doesn't show really the last year, so I don't think they're gonna play. Maybe for a place between the 10 and the 20s, but nothing more than that. Peter Sagan for Total Energies, Daniel Oss, Anthony Turgis, Boassenhagen. On paper, all great names, but it's also been a long time anyone showed something And I think the one with the biggest chance is then Anthony Turgi. I don't expect much of it. Then we go to the next teams. Israel Parametek. I think they have maybe the biggest favorite after Van Aert and Van der Poel, and that's Sepp van Marke. Everyone knows in the peloton he's a fantastic cobble rider, maybe one of the best in the peloton right now. Everyone says it. So, and his form is good. 13 can favor him. So maybe tomorrow is the day for him to get finally his win in Paris-Roubaix. Arkea Samsic, I don't see someone that can go really far, but maybe an Hugo Hofstetter. UAE with Ackerman, Trentin and Mikkelbjerg. I expect, Mikkelbjerg is for me a dark horse. Very good the last few weeks. Curious to see what he can do. Trentin always good in the classics, and Ackerman, I think he's also built for Paris-Roubaix, and he has a sprint, so maybe. Cofidis, Max Walscheid, maybe. André Carvalho, young Portuguese rider. I think he can surprise maybe from in the attack. Then Team Jaco Alula, Stibar, and that's it. Stibar getting older, of course, but in Paris-Roubaix, that I don't know. I'm curious to see what he can do. Uno X, I don't see really. We have Christophe, of course. Really good races again the last weeks. Movistar, Oyer Lascano, one of the surprises of this year, and Ivan Garcia Cortina, of course. Some dark horses there also. Intermarché, Mike Teunissen, never been outside of the top 20 the last 3 times he rode it. So he can do it. Last years he had to ride for someone else also. Now he is the man in the team. So curious to see what he can do. EF, I would say, not really someone, because Langeveld doesn't ride, and I would say Jonas Ruch then, or the brothers Van den Berg. They can surprise me. Astana, Moscon gonna ride. Last year, very impressive. Without the mechanical issues, he would have maybe won. But we will never know. But he's a strong rider. But this season he didn't show much yet. Then we have Q36.5 Pro Cycling Team with the surprise of last year also, Tom de Vriend. Matteo Mocetti, also very good. So maybe they can surprise again. Bingo, Van Kerswilk, very known for his cobble skills. And then we have Team Flanders, where I don't expect much besides an attack early. So my prediction is that we're gonna see 2 or 3 riders going to the Velodrome. 2 of those riders gonna be Van Aert and Van der Poel, and then a third one, someone we don't expect immediately. And I think Van Aert will win in the sprint because he has the winner's mentality. And I don't say that because he's my favorite. No, I really hope that the best will win tomorrow. And that's it. Enjoy the race tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment who you think will win in the Paris-Roubaix tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.